Good morning. We're going for brunch and then we're going to WISLEY. And it's a lovely day.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
What a way to start the day. Yeah. Here we are. Oh, it's just WISLEY. Oh, they've got some new pergola kind of contraption up there. That's looking lovely. Everyone else has had the same idea, obviously, because it's a lovely Saturday to come and see the flowers and the dinosaurs. It's lovely. There's no one down this end, really. This is the so-called Poulton, which is just a load of pine trees, basically, as we saw when we went to Wakehurst 3-4 weeks ago. I think it's 4, yeah. Good evening. We're going over the road to Ask Italian, just over there for a little meal, because technically today is our original anniversary before all the wedding things removed it from the calendar. Well, they haven't removed it from the calendar because we're still going out for dinner.
Still in my calendar.
It's still in our calendar. So, going out for a little meal, and the sunset is pretty awesome. Good afternoon. It is another majestic day. It is beautiful, and I have been watching a bit of the London Marathon, which I watch in awe, to be honest, because I will never run a marathon. I've walked one and that was plenty. And I'm just been tidying the balcony and sorting out geraniums or what have you. Now I need to buy some bits for lunch. Crystal is out for a couple of hours to go and get a massage, so I'm going to try and be moderately constructive in that time, but it's a shame to be indoors too much when it's like this. Thought I'd show you a traditional Italian starter, because I had it the other day and I thought I'll make it myself. Plus my parents for my birthday got me some of this. This is, the Italians call it BRESAOLA. It's air-dried beef. It's fantastic if you can get hold of some. Local Italian deli, you probably get it in supermarkets nowadays, but it's very delicious. And it's literally uncooked but dry cured. So a bit of that in the bowl initially, or plate, doesn't really matter. You'll notice this one's from Monmouthshire, so this is actually Welsh. And it's fantastic they're making it in this country now, but the smell is so wonderful. It's one of the most quintessentially Italian smells, is BRESAOLA. Next, take a bit of lemon and squeeze it over the meat. Lemon juice helps with the, essentially, kind of the acidity cooks the meat slightly, but also it brings out the flavours. It's fantastic. Then add a good handful or two of rocket. There we go. And then a bit more lemon, for luck. And then some olive oil, extra virgin, because it's for eating, not cooking. I've got a spray on one, which is a bit silly, but nonetheless. There you go, plenty of olive oil. And lastly, some parmesan. Don't grate it, you want big chunks. Some big chunks of the old parmesan in there. Parmesan's lovely and salty, but also when it's this big, it's just like a bit of a treat for the senses. So there we go. And then, you know, it's Italian, so a bit more oil. And then serve it with some crusty bread, and it is amazing. There we go. It's not having it. It's had enough. There's New Pagoda. Here is New Temperate House, which is kind of abandoned, but opens in about 10 days. In some form. Here are the tulips in blossom. This is like peak week. Multi-tulips, multi-blossom. Good morning from the north side of the Thames. These are some large herons. around this morning, attacking the boat crews. It's always reassuring. Anyway, as you can see, it's a very nice morning, and so as I'm working at USP today, I thought I'd walk to Hammersmith, and I haven't had a chance to do this for a while. In fact, I don't think I've done it properly since I was doing my 10,000 steps a day. And this is much better weather than I had at any day that month. So there we go. It's a short week this week, and on Thursday we're off on a little anniversary trip to Gloucestershire. So just got 3 days of working for 3 different companies to go, as it were. So last week was a bit of a challenge. The entertainment world lost quite a few people. Dale Winton, who started his career at Radio Trent, which is one of the stations that made up the group I used to work for, and Avicii, who you might know as a DJ producer, who was only 28. I think Dale Winton was only 62 as well, which isn't very old by modern standards. And most sadly for me personally was my old friend and colleague Richard Newby, who we all knew as Nobby, who we lost on Thursday. And that was by far the most shocking of the 3, and gutting, frankly, and humbling when you realise how little control you have in the world. And Nobby was married, he had 2 kids, and he's only a couple of years older than me. And yeah, really, it's just really horrible to lose someone like that. And he's such a, my memories of Nobby is he's such a friendly guy, such a nice guy. Like when he first joined the production team in Bristol where I was working, he's just, you know, a really down-to-earth, honest northern chap, and you know, so easy to get along with, so friendly, and very talented indeed. I mean, he worked with us at Global for a long time, and then he went off and did freelance bits, quite a lot of stuff for the BBC, and yeah, it's horrible. The whole thing is horrible, and hopefully I'll have some information in the next few days about some possible charitable donations that I can make, and hopefully you might choose to make as well. So I think I'll leave it there for now. It's a lot fresher this morning. The heat of last week is somewhat dissipated. Spring is very much a time of change, so it's not surprising that the temperature's fluctuating all over the place, except that being as hot as it was last week is not normal for the month. And the fact that we went from sort of -2 degrees to, I think it was plus 27 degrees in 6 weeks. And if you need any more evidence of global warming, then God help you, because that is quite a dramatic temperature fluctuation that is very much beyond the norms. But this week it's back to sort of what you might call normal April temperatures, high teens, occasional sun, occasional rain. It pretty much personifies this country, to be honest, but there we go. But it's still very pleasant, and this is my favourite time of year, and maybe it's because I was born this time of year, maybe it's because I got married this time of year, but I love spring. I love how everything sort of bursts into life so suddenly, like all of these weeds and shoots and things and all the leaves on these trees are, you know, less than 10 days old, and it's remarkable and wonderful. There really is almost nobody about today. There's a bike, the mobikes get everywhere, and one of the reasons this is my favourite time of year, I'm sure I've given you thousands by now, but one of the things that I think is synonymous with this time of year is the colour of the leaves when they first come out on the trees. So it's a very pale yellowy green, which I absolutely love. It's fantastic. And you can see it with the light shining through the trees. It's just stunning. Oh, finally a car. I'm making slightly too good time because I thought I might cross back across Barnes Bridge and do the Three Bridges version, but I chose against it, so now I'm well ahead of schedule. I mean, I could get to work early, but that's, you know, that's crazy talk. So instead I'm just going to walk slower. Almost there. I just stopped for some German practice. Right, time for reality and the week to actually start properly. Welcome back to the F1 room. I'm just doing a few config setup changes and what have you. Not for this weekend, because this weekend is all the same. They're in the race is in Azerbaijan, but the week after that they're going to Spain, and so everyone's going. So this room itself won't be in use, but a few of the objects in this room need to make their way to Spain for the setup, and so does this computer. So that's what I'm doing today. That's good, isn't it? Just like turn the camera on. Anyway, I'm walking home a bit, back to Piccadilly Circus at least, because it's still nice out, and I wanted to come via the new Swatch store on Carnaby Street, which I did, and I'll show you what I bought tomorrow. But for the meantime, I'm just enjoying this locale. Hi there, happy Tuesday morning. Today I have a meeting this evening at RHP, and before then I've really just got to catch up with all the things I haven't been doing because I've been at work. Those things include vlogs that aren't uploaded, invoices that need sending, packing that needs doing for the weekend, and tidying up. So all the fun things. So as I mentioned, I've got an extra RHP board meeting, so I decided to go for a bit of a walk, even though today is a bit grey and miserable. The weather is changing, just of course, just as we're about to go away on our trip. I think what we've learned, although I haven't learned it yet, but I think what I might be learning is that the last weekend in April is not the most reliable weekend for weather. But all the blossoms are out in the graveyard, and it's very beautiful. So, you know, every cloud and all that, and we do have plenty of clouds at the moment. It's also green, and the occasional blue. The bluebells are starting to come out. Bluebells are pretty much my birth flower by all logic. And they're awesome because you find them in little dells like this. Isn't that cool? And there's some white ones and pink ones. Love it. So different up here with all the green. Different shades on every tree. It's also very windy today, but so nice. Despite all of that, just being outside, it's very pleasant when you've been doing chores most of the day. Making the most of this 2-hour walk, because tomorrow I'm going to be at WebVid, finishing off, hopefully, or mostly finishing that project we're working on, and then Thursday we're going to be in the car a bit, going to Cirencester. It's only about an hour and a half, hour and 40, but still it's a bit of travelling. It's a shame because it's a nice day, so I'll try and get into queue first thing, just for a bit of contrast. Last time I was here, it was ever so wet, the ground, and basically my route was impeded by puddles bordering on lakes, and now after last week the ground is so dry it's cracked because, you know, English weather is indecisive. Good morning from the Blossom Walk in Kew. As I've said before, these trees don't come out at the same time, so the end of the walk is now just leaves, as you can see, but very nice. Cherry trees are wonderful. So I'm on my way into WebVid today. Last day of work for a few days because we're going on holiday tomorrow. Not that I'm super excited or anything. We're going for our anniversary trip to Gloucestershire. We're going initially to Poulton, which is just south of Cirencester. Look it up. It's a tiny little village. The weather's not promising to be great, to be honest, but I think we've learned that the end of April is like that. And it's just nice to have a change of scenery and go somewhere to relax and, you know, eat well and have a bit of time to ourselves. So that's what we're going to do. The sun is out at the moment, which is a great blessing, but it's not warm. So, you know, take what you can. Over the last few weeks it must seem like you just see me walking along this towpath in one direction in the morning and then walking back in the other direction in the evening with very little in between. So sorry about that, it has been a bit intense. Today was a little frustrating. I didn't get anywhere near as much work done as I wanted. It will get finished, but it's a much slower pace than I'd hoped. There's lots of different pieces of the puzzle that haven't yet come together. Anyway, no more work till Tuesday, very early Tuesday morning. So I've got to go home, I've got to pack and get ready for us to go on our anniversary trip tomorrow afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. It's Thursday and we are shortly going to leave to go on our first year anniversary trip. So it's about time I quickly got a word of the week in, and I think this week's word of the week should be anniversary. I'm pretty sure I did wedding last year. I said it a lot. So this week's word of the week is anniversary. First of all, in German, anniversary is der Jahrestag. Der Jahrestag, which is literally the year day. So that is anniversary in German. And in Italian, it's rather simply l'anniversario. L'anniversario. So that is anniversary in Italian, and that was this week's word of the week. Our tour of Aldi's of the world continues in Cirencester. We need to buy some provisions because we're cooking in our cottage for 2 nights, tonight being one of them, and we obviously need to have breakfasts and lunches and things. Do we have bags? We need bags. And yeah, so then we're gonna go there immediately after we've done our shop. Here is the outside. There we go. So, home for the next few days. Here we are. We are taking pictures. We've just arrived. It's really impressive. They've left us a chocolate cake, which is obviously now in Airbnbs people tend to leave baked goods, which is quite a nice touch. So come through with me into the kitchen where I try not to fall down the step. That's lovely, isn't it? Got some cookbooks and everything, coffees, teas and sugars, and then yes, the hob and the fridge, etc. And then there's a bathroom with a really nice sort of wet room, shower, and lavatory and basin, and then you've got this lovely view into their garden. So yeah, we've done quite well there. This is a good find. I don't know how I found it, but it was a good find nonetheless. We've just come for a little wander around the village. The village shop is closed. Unfortunately, because of lack of volunteers, it closed at 3. This is the village hall. Here you can see the hiring rates. You can get it for £70 a day as a non-villager, plus £10 for use of the piano. Here is the bus stop. I particularly like the stall. It's very beautiful though. I mean, this is, you know, all joking aside, a very, very beautiful village. And very traditional. I mean, there's some new estate bits, but it's mostly done very well, and even the new bits are in Cotswolds stone, so it looks lovely. We've had some dinner, we cooked ourselves, courtesy of Aldi. Now we're visiting the local establishment. It is literally 20 yards from our front door. So this is the manor house, and we're staying in one of the outbuildings essentially, in their grounds. And there's the village shop where we've just been to buy some things for lunch. Oh, this is Poulton in all its glory. In a moment we're going to go back down the road we went on yesterday and keep going until we get to the vineyard. We're walking along this track vaguely towards Poulton Hill Estate, which is the local vineyard. And as you can see, it's busy today. Fridays, obviously, when everybody... Actually, I joke, but everyone was in the village shop had like 15 cars outside, but nobody in there. So I don't know quite where they were going. Very old country lanes. I can't help but imagine that actually most of the roads that are now tarmacked probably look like this. Sort of before the war. This was as much road as you got at that point. It's very nice though, hedges on both sides, and it is a full car width. It's a full tractor width actually. It's not too full car width, so that's the path we've just come along through the field here. And that is Poulton Hill Estate, that farm on yonder hill. There is another farm behind this thicket, which we've got to pass first, and then we're on up to the estate. Found a nice place for us. Needs a wall on there and a roof on that bit, obviously. This needs a new roof, but it's pretty solid. It is rather full of wool at the moment. As you can see, property of the British Wool Marketing Board. But the brickwork's solid and the beams are in good condition. It needs a few more windows because it basically has one at the moment, and it has an outbuilding, if you can call it that. There's no real, way of getting here, except down a mud track from the farm beyond. But it is still labelled on the map as a farm in its own right, which is a bit of a stretch, I'll be honest. Just come on a little explore through the garden. This is the garage and what have you. The sheds for the manor cottage, which is they rent out as well. This is also part of the estate. That building up there. That, as I explained yesterday, is the manor house, and these are its grounds. So let's go for a little wander. So we've come down the path into the walled garden, which you can see it's a mixture of flowers and vegetables, and some bluebells, and chickens, obviously. Interesting. I don't know. This might be there's lots of Cotswold breeds, like Burford Browns and Gloucestershire leg bars. I don't know what these are. What are you, chicken? What are you? Then as you come out the walled garden, you come into this very large open bit of ground with some lovely bluebells. There were some rabbits, but I've upset them. Some drops and some, these things. Now these are little bell-shaped objects that you get in queue. And this is a river, so I've got to ford this stream somehow, which we'll work out in a mo. World's tiniest bridge over the river pond. It doesn't seem to be flowing, so maybe it's a pond. And then there's the path back up to the manor house. Yes, these are they. There's loads of these down by the riverside in queue, actually. They're cool, aren't they? And yes, I don't know what these drop things are. These look like little white bonnets. And you can come out to the very edge on this field. That's a road we walked up this morning on our attempt to get to the vineyard. So I haven't filled you in since then because it was overly traumatic. So we made it as far as the road that goes to the vineyard, which didn't take us too long, and there was a gate and it was locked and we couldn't get over it or round it. So we thought, well, we'll go to the main entrance, which is on the road, on the other side essentially of the field, but you have to go all the way around into the next town and back up the other side. So we did that, and there was another gate which was locked with an intercom, and we'd had to walk an additional 45 minutes to get there past the intercom. and it redirected to somebody's voicemail. So that was not very successful. So Poulton Hill Estate, I think I like your wine. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks good. Not so big on your opening times issue. Here I'm back in the main garden, up from the river down there, and then there is the main house up there. And it's got these lovely little, well, this tree-lined walk is beautiful, and there's some amazing old ash trees you can see up there. It's a huge, and willow and all sorts. It's ever so pretty. And obviously enormous. That building's theirs as well. That appears to be some sort of garagey workshop. Yeah, it's kind of never ending. Love it. Can I live here now, please?
Toby